about, like, age doesn't necessarily, like, a lot of people, too many people think when they think of age, they think of the stereotypical old Fox News grandpa type character. Am I saying that right? Whatever. But that isn't always the reality. Like, there are plenty of people, there are plenty of 55-year-olds, 65-year-olds, 75-year-olds who are taking roles in unions, who are voting for Bernie Sanders, who are like, they're much more liberal-minded because of they've been paying attention to really what conservative economic policies and the Democratic, really also what the Democratic Party has been doing to them for so long. And it's really kind of insane. So here's how older and younger voters differ. Automatic voter registration, registering people to vote when they apply for licenses and IDs at motor vehicle offices, Medicaid offices, health care exchanges, and other public agencies. That automatic voter registration is not supported by 50 to 65 plus, but 40 to 49, 30 to 39, 68% plus support it, and about like 60%, 65 plus and 50 to 64 age people do support it. Do support it less than 68%. So, free college for all students, big difference among ages. Young people support it more than the average American. 30, 39, 40, 40, like they'll support it more than the average American. They also differ on a universal savings account, giving Americans $5,000 in savings accounts at birth that they can use when they turn 18, paid by raising taxes on estates worth more than $10 million. That is something that a lot of pretty much millennials, Gen Xers very strongly support, and boomers and older people less so. Greenhouse gas fees, levying pollutions on taxes that companies that emit high levels of gas, 78% support that on average. More young people support it than old people. Medicare expansion, unsurprisingly, some older people lean more to that, making Medicare the main health insurance provider for all Americans. A lot of people support that on the young side especially. I mean, to say that does not say that the faults in America's political system are solely the result of biases against the young. The problems we face are myriad, and this is again from the article, and addressing gerontocracy won't solve them all, but an antiquated system that produces unrepresentative leadership is ill-equipped to respond to the problems of our time and should concern anyone committed to democratic ideals. I mean, it's really hard to say that everyone has an equal voice in the government, that everyone is well represented with the amount of voter suppression laws, with the amount of people that participate in our government, even when they're not being suppressed, they just don't care. So many people have just checked out. That is a huge, huge, and devastating blow against the just idea of a more democratic country. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. That's the thing that I think a lot of people need to understand on that front. So, yeah. So that is definitely a very interesting way of looking at it. I'm not going to go too big in this article. It is incredibly long, but it's definitely worth an interesting look. So it's not as bad. It's not as kind of pointless as I thought it would be, but it definitely does point out a very big and very prevalent problem in the way things are. So, yeah. We'll continue on now with Newsflash. Hey guys, just a reminder that we want to hear your voice. If you like the show, please remember to leave a 5-star review on iTunes, or let us know that you like it by commenting on Spreaker.com or any Spreaker platform, or commenting or leaving a review on whatever platform you may want to get your podcast on. If you like the show, please, again, remember to subscribe, leave a review, because that's how you can support us. Also, if you like the show, please support us by going to Spreaker.com/TSWS, scrolling down and accessing our brand new merchandise store. Yeah, check that out. It's pretty cool. You're going to want to see it. And I really do want to talk about a pretty crazy thing that's happened just over the past 24 hours or so. Trump actually backed down on something. Because, like, you could really count on one hand the number of times he's really had to apologize or back down or change his mind on something. And he never really does it very well. Like, for example, the sexual harassment tape, the campaign, the Access Hollywood tape, whatever you want to call it, the ground by the pussy tape, whatever, I don't care. But that he had to back down on. He had to make a real apology video for that. He's never really changed his mind on a lot of stuff. So it's always very rare and very kind of shocking when we actually see that he does, and he actually does back down on something or change his mind on something. And he just did that. He this week announced in what was a pretty shockingly blatant and really out there level of corruption that he decided to hold the G7, obviously the big gathering of the 7 biggest countries' economies in the world, excluding Russia, of course. But that he has, of course, decided to change, and he is now just pretty much giving up on that idea. He says there's no replacement idea being announced. Obviously, the leaders of it's the Miami Doral golf course that he's supposed to be hosting it at, but apparently no one was even notified. They're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have it at Trump's golf course. Why? I don't know. No reason in particular. We're just going to do it because that's maybe what Trump wants. I'm sure he wanted to have that because he would obviously profit enormously from the huge amount of people and the world leaders going to his golf course. Like, world leaders already, whenever they want Trump's influence, they can. They always stay at his hotel, like Saudi Arabia. Like, they'll come to visit Trump, and some dignitary or whatever will be like, "Oh, Mr. Trump, I had a wonderful stay at your hotel last night," and they'll be like, "Oh, really? Wonderful, folks. That's wonderful." Like that's kind of what he kind of thrives off of. He's very, very big off making money, profiting in whichever way he can, because I don't know, this is kind of a normal human behavior, but never has it been this rampant, this obvious, and this insanely problematic in, I think, really the history of our country. Like, that, it's unparalleled, really, is what it is. And he actually decided to back down on it. And then, of course, it raises the question, I think the biggest question here is, why did he back down? What was the thing that caused him to back down? Was it people, my personal guess is people just going to him and being like, hey, listen, you are completely out of control on this. You are never going to have any kind of a real improvement. You're never going to have anyone supporting on this. You can't have anyone back you up on this because it's just going to give the Democrats more and more ammo to impeach you on. It really looks bad for you. It's maybe his advisors, lawyers coming to actually feeding him news articles about this, about how it's just blatantly corrupt and there's not much people can do to protect you on this. It looks very bad to the American people, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe that was repeated to him enough times before it finally got through and he changed his mind on it. But we don't know. Yeah, and of course, he was very trite. He was effective. And he was very deep in his apology that he put on Twitter last night. Just kidding. Yeah. I thought I was doing something very good for our country by using Trump National Doral in Miami for hosting the G7 leaders, Trump wrote on Twitter before promoting the resort's amenities, saying, let's get the full tweets. Let's get the full shebang of what he said. It's like, I can't use my resort to do corruption, but hey, it has many conference rooms and many hotels, tremendous ballrooms and meeting rooms, and each delegation would have its own 50 to 70 unit building, would set up better than other alternatives. I announced I would be willing to do it at no profit, or if legally permissible, at zero cost to the USA. But as usual, the hostile media and their Democratic partners went crazy. No real explanation about why he decided to do this, possibly no real look at it. The decision to host the group of 7 at Trump's club was first announced by Mick Mulvaney at the chaotic news briefing this past Thursday. But Trump had hinted, of course, it would be a possibility for months. Like, literally, world leaders may not even be able to come to the thing because he it would just be that blatantly corrupt. They couldn't accept gifts from Trump. But like these G7 people, they would not be able to do it. Like, it is insane. That's how blatantly obvious it is. There's so many better ways to make money without calling this much attention to yourself. Like, it's almost like he's stupid, guys. What? Yeah, I think the biggest question is what kind of provoked him to do this out of the story. So it's going to be interesting to see also, and they think maybe Camp David is only being hosted now, but who knows? So that's about, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We, of course, reminder again, as you may have already heard, Red Alert premiering October 28th. October 28th. Catch up on season 1 now, wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, on Culture Back Live this Friday. And we will see you, hopefully, Thursday, if we can fit it in, for another bonus episode of Newsflash. Episode 345, maybe coming away a little bit early. This has been Newsflash 344. Peace.